Rise and shine, everybody. It's almost football time. Let's get those lineups set on Fantasy Football Today Express. Yeah, Adam and Heath here, early morning, and we got a game in an hour and a half, so let's get those lineups ready for you with Minnesota and the Jets kicking off in London soon. Let's talk about the Colts and the Jaguars. Anthony Richardson is doubtful. Yeah, I picked up Joe Flacco in a league, Heath Cummings. Jonathan Taylor is out. Their center, Ryan Kelly, is likely out, and Shane Steichen, their coach, said it will be running back by committee. So who do you confidently start on the Colts at the Jaguars?
I'm starting Michael Pittman. I think Josh Downs is a fine number 3 wide receiver, and Trey Sermon is a high-end flex or low-end RB2.
Josh Downs is only 56% rostered. That is up from 54 yesterday. He's a guy that I will be scanning all of my leagues to make sure that he's available, or that he's not, that he's rostered before the game starts. Wan'Dale Robinson or Josh Downs?
Wan'Dale Robinson.
All right. Let's see. Let's go to the Packers passing game here. Did you move Dontavian Wicks up as Romeo Doubs is suspended for one game?
A little bit. Yeah, I think it will still be mostly like Jaden Reed and wide receiver by committee. Wicks got all the targets last week, and maybe that's what made Doubs upset, but he caught 5 out of 13. So I don't think he's a must start or anything. A good number 3 wide receiver. I would start Downs and Wan'Dale over Wicks.
Wow. Okay. Wicks or Tyreek Hill? Dante wants to know.
I will go with Tyreek.
All right. So Brian Robinson, we'll talk about some running backs here. Brian Robinson will play it looks good to go, I think was the term, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. So he's basically in the must-start category, right?
He's a must-start, and Austin Eckler is back. He's a fine flex.
What about the Patriots running backs? Antonio Gibson's going to start. Ramondre Stevenson's been fumbling. They have a great matchup against one of the worst run defenses in football, and Miami has allowed, I think, 8 touchdowns to running backs in 4 games. So which would you start? Which Patriots running back would you start if you had to choose one?
If I had to choose one, I would start Gibson. I've got him 1 spot ahead of Trey Sermon, both of them behind Brian Robinson, both of them ahead of Austin Eckler, and Ramondre is a fine flex.
Zamir White is out. So how about Alexander Madison versus the Patriots guys?
I would start Madison over the Patriots guys, and he's just barely ahead of Trey Sermon as well.
Let's go. Oh, Devin Singletary is doubtful here. All right, how about let's throw Tyrone Tracy in the mix? We've been doing this for the last 3 or 4 days now. All these replacement running backs. Tyrone Tracy time.
Yeah, he's ahead of Ramondre Stevenson, behind everyone else we've talked about.
What about Cam Akers in this group?
He's ahead of Tyrone Tracy and Ramondre Stevenson, and behind everyone else we've talked about.
Yeah, I wish these replacement running backs were better, were more appealing.
Well, I mean, they range from RB19 to RB30. So for a lot of people, they are the most appealing option they have.
And so who's RB19?
Madison.
Okay. Yes. Tight ends. Trey McBride is going to play. And you know what? I mean, obviously you're going to start him anyway. If Fred Warner doesn't play for the Niners,
Fred Warner's going to play as well.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. David Njoku. So what's the deal with David Njoku at Washington?
He is expected to play. He is not expected to be 100%. I'm still, unless I have one of the top 7 tight ends, which ends with Dalton Kincaid, I'm starting David Njoku.
Okay, so Conklin and all those guys are starting Njoku over.
Yes.
And it looks like they're going to get Jedrick Wills, their left tackle, back as well.
Browns are my favorite DFS stack this week.
All right. Yeah, that's the game. A good look. And also, I think, like a Flacco Downs. I like the Jacksonville, Indianapolis game for some points, too. Taysom Hill is out. Evan Ingram is likely out. And Brandon Cooks is on IR. Any interest in Jalen Tolbert or anyone like that against Pittsburgh?
He's a top 48 wide receiver, but not a top 40 guy. So desperation flex.
All right. Just seeing if I missed anything. I don't think I did. And, Cooper Kupp should return after their bye week for the October 20th game, according to Adam Schefter. That's good stuff. We'll take a break and answer your questions. Oh, and before we do that, let me remind you, we're live at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Eastern this morning, youtube.com/fantasyfootball today, or you can watch us on CBS Sports HQ on the CBS Sports app on your smart TV or anywhere else. And that's from 9 to 10 and then from noon to 1. So we got a lot of content for you. Noon to 1 is YouTube only, youtube.com/fantasyfootball today. And we will be right back. Okay, we are back. Wicks or McLaurin?
That's very, very close. I think I just barely have Wicks. Yes.
Okay, and we're answering questions from the chat right now. Flacco or Kyler?
Kyler.
Njoku.
I do not want to start Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I'm starting him in one league. I have Jalen Hurts on a bye. I was starting Deshaun Watson, who is appealing.
I'd much rather start Watson.
I'm starting Flacco over Watson, but
you have Watson on like 7 other teams, so you need a little diversity.
I have him only on 1 or 2 super flex teams. I'm not starting Watson in any 1 QB leagues. Okay, let's see.
I would go with Kraft over Njoku, so I said that Kincaid was the end of it. I guess Kraft is the end of it.
Okay, there you go. Chase wants to know, pick 2, Flowers, JSN, Josh Downs, Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas and Josh Downs.
Addison, JSN, Tank Dell, Justice Hill. We need 2.
Oof, that's not great. I will go with JSN and Justice Hill.
Akers or Odunze?
Akers.
Okay, this guy is giving up on Tyreek and Ayuk. He's got Connor and Wicks in the line. I know Heath wouldn't agree with that, but it's what he's doing. Now he needs Madison, T. Higgins, Lazard, and Lockett. Like, you can't.
He needs 2 of those guys?
Yeah.
But he should start Tyreek and Ayuk. But I understand. Like, so if you are going to do that, then I would go with Madison, who I think I probably have ahead of Ayuk anyway. I don't have Ayuk's not one of my top 25 wide receivers.
Okay.
And I'd go with T. Higgins.
Okay. T. Higgins or Brian Thomas Jr.?
Thomas for me.
Sam Darnold or Dak Prescott?
Dak.
Tyrone Tracy or Trey Sermon?
Sermon.
Nope, that's not a question. Olave or Deontay Johnson? Going Deontay.
Yeah, Deontay.
Tough one, but the Chiefs are good. Let's see. Pick 2 of these. Garrett Wilson, Dontavian Wicks, and James Conner.
I'll go with Conner and Wilson.
And Brian Robinson Jr. or Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, I understand why the injury has you spooked, but I'm still starting Brian Robinson Jr.
Shaheed or Flowers?
It's Shaheed for me.
Watson, Carr, or Flacco?
I mean, it's Watson for me. In my projections, Watson's a top 5 quarterback this week. I wouldn't rank him quite that high, but he's 10 spots ahead of those guys in my rankings.
Yeah, and I'll just say real quick, I'll say why I'm hesitant. We'll get him plenty of Watson questions, I'm sure, today. He's already played the 2nd worst team against quarterbacks, and he scored 15.5 fantasy points against them. So he's just playing so poorly. And that was Jacksonville, by the way. So he gets the worst team, and they're horrible. Let's see what he can do. All right. Thank you, Heath. Thank you all for watching and listening. And we'll talk to you at 9 a.m. YouTube.com/fantasyfootball today and CBS Sports HQ on the CBS Sports app. See you then.